Welcome back again. Welcome back to Prower Airfield. As you previously recall, we just did the ride-out video for Tornado 1. And now we're back to do it for Tornado 2. Remember that comment I made about if you've taken a mechatronics class, you will have learned both to use the Arduino library and special function registers. You would recall using those special function registers is much more difficult and kind of painful. Working an invert is like using that Arduino library. It's nice, simple, straightforward. Working a flyer is like having to use special function registers, and you're just going to find out how much more difficult it is. But, on the other end of that, it's a much more fun ride to work. A lot less boring, I will say that. It's just got a learning curve to it. It's a coaster type I like to call exotic. Rather than being one of your normal types like an invert. But we're going to get right into it. And you're going to learn how awesome, fun, and scary working this can be. So let me go ahead and show you around the rest of the Midway. There were some parts I wanted to save for this video. So let me show you around. First of all, here are the lockers for Tornado 2. Now, you're probably wondering, why do we have two sets of lockers? Now, the reason is that the way the lockers work, the lockers are free for the current wait time plus 1 hour. Now, you don't have to worry about that for your first ride of the day, because A, if you get here early enough, even if you get here at the tail end of that hour, the lockers are set to 30 minutes by default. So you'll still have an extra 30 minutes. The wait time is an hour by the time you get there. And then it'll get reset. And then it'll get reset as the wait time's called in. So it'll increase anyway. It'll add that extra time to your time too, so you won't have to worry about that. But I digress. The way the lockers work is it's the corresponding ride's wait time plus 1 hour that they're free for, after which you have to pay. So don't forget your stuff in your locker. If we did one pod for both lockers, or both rides, I mean, you have to average the wait times, or we have to go with the longer one. And what if this ride goes down, but this doesn't? We have to pause it, constantly adjust it. We prefer having two smaller sets for each coaster. Which is nice, because A, this one goes down more. B, this one usually has a longer line because flyers are more popular. I don't know why, because inverts are better rides usually, but doesn't mean this is a bad ride. I guess people want that more exotic flying feeling. What next? What next? So yeah, that's why we have two separate pods. So it's important that we call in the wait time so that those can get upgraded. Or updated. Let's go down here real quick. Because remember Turboprop Terrace? That brunch place that's open all day because brunch should be eaten all day. Well, let me finally show you down here. You actually get a really good, like, lush setting for brunch. You get shade. You get delicious food, and you get great views of both coasters. You can get a nice view from here. Palm trees are kind of in the way, but it doesn't really matter. You get lots of shade. Get lots of shade down there too. That's a lower portion of the queue. A little tired. It's very late at night where I am recording this. But, yeah, that's Turboprop Terrace offering some nice brunch food. So, Now it's time to go over general ride information. The first part of this is going to be the papers that you're going to be dealing with. There are 4. There's 2 types of alternate access, green and blue. There's parent swaps, which are purple, and item tickets, which are black. The first alternate access is the normal one. So this is the one where you have a physical disability, although it can be another type of disability. It's tailored to each individual person, but generally these will be physical disabilities. They don't need the elevator because, as you can see, the exit ramp is pretty straightforward. They just go down there. But what they do first is they come here to greeter. They get a time, which is the current time plus the ride's wait time. Let's say it's 3 o'clock, right? And the wait's an hour, which it'll usually be on your average summer day. You come over here, you get your wait time, or you get your return time. It'll say 4 o'clock. Unless you want the front row, then it'll say 4:15. Now, what happens if you want to buy Easy Queue? Take advantage of the time savings, or if you have all season or all year. You can still do that with the normal alternate access pass. You can do it with both of them, but the way it works in the normal is the return time ends up being the current time plus the Easy Queue time instead. Yeah, normal time plus the Easy Queue time. So let's say the wait's an hour, but Easy Queue's 15 minutes. Then the return time would be 3:15 for that 3 o'clock time. Or if you want the front row, we'd add an extra 5 minutes instead of 15. So, yeah. So it'd be 3:20 if you wanted the front for that. So that's it for the first one. Of course, when you're checking them to give them a time, you first have to open it up, make sure it's the person it says it is. You have to make sure, well, loading the people is for them to do. It'll say how many people are in the group. That's for exit to worry about. You have to make sure it's them, and you have to make sure they can actually ride the ride. It's either going to have, there's the list of rides they can ride. If the ride has an X next to it, they can't ride. If there's an X next to Tornado 2, they can't ride. If there's a C next to it, that means conditional. So if they're wearing a boot, they have to take the boot off. If they're wearing a brace, they have to take the brace off. Stuff like that. We'll get into that more later. Second type of alternate access pass is the Plan Your Day pass. That one's blue. First one's green. That one's blue. The blue pass is more for mental disabilities. Generally. They're not going to come to greeter. They're going to go straight to the exit. And when they get to the exit, if it's their first ride of the day, for most rides, they can hop right on. For the more popular rides, however, it'll have a stipulation that it cannot be their first ride of the day. Usually it'll be the newest ride or a ride that has retained immense popularity over the years and usually gets incredibly long waits. So when they get to the exit person will, or whoever's in charge of alternate access, if the exit's not there, they will write the name of the ride, write the time in the time box, and then write the next ride time. If they already have a ride time, they simply got to come back. You simply have to make sure that the current time is past the ride time. If they want the front row, it's going to be an extra 15 minutes. So you have to make sure it's the ride time plus 15 minutes if they do want the front. So then you put the next ride time, which is the time they rode, time they ended up riding, not the ride time, time they ended up riding, plus the interval. The interval can be as low as 5 minutes on a very quiet day, or as high as 180 minutes on the busiest days, like New Year's Eve, or weekends in October. Trust me, it gets pretty slammed on those October weekends. If they have easy queue, the time is cut by 1/4. So let's say it's a 60-minute interval. Back down to 15 minutes, and if they want the front, it's only got to be 5 minutes past. Now, there will mostly be a stipulation for those same rides that you cannot have the first ride of the day, that they can only ride once using the interval on their sheet, and that after that, they're going to have to make sure the current wait time has elapsed before they ride again. Or if it's the easy queue time. But it's usually has to be easy queue plus in that case. Either way, there's scan points at both, so if there's a plan your day, they scan there. If it's easy queue, they scan here. The scan limit applies to alternate access as well. So that's good to go. Parent swaps. As you know, we have greeters at each of these rides. Greeter will measure the height of the kid. If they're too short, they cannot enter the queue. Now, to avoid unaccompanied minors, we have the kid plus 2 people, 1 or 2 people, up to 2 people, wait. And then the rest of the party is going to take the parent swap, which will have their name on it. It's a purple slip. It'll have their name on it. And a rides list. Once that runs out, you can simply give them another one. Forgot to mention, once the plan your day pass is full, you got to go get another one. They have a limited number of rides they can use. Anyway, they'll wait in line with the parent swap. They'll get on the ride. Then they'll hand it to either exit or whoever's in charge of alternate access at the time. Then the 2 people who are watching the kid hand the kid off to the group that just rode. They'll give their last name. The person over here will be holding on to the parent swaps. And then they'll give the parent swap with the name on it back to the 2 people, and then the 2 people will get on the ride. And then they'll just take it with them to the next ride. And they'll fill out the rides list just like they would a plan your day pass. Just like they would an alternate access pass. If it runs out, they simply get another one from the entrance. And then item tickets. There are certain items that cannot come in the queue. We'll go over that later. But because we employ humans and not robots, every so often something will slip through. I implore you, if you're on platform, please do not ridicule entrants if they miss something occasionally. If they miss a lot, that's when you start getting on them about it. But don't freak out over one bag. Instead, the remedy is the person will instead get stopped at grouper, take their stuff back out, put it in the locker, and then go back in and wait in the easy queue line. And the item ticket will act as the easy queue. That doesn't give them a free pass to skip the entire line, because, again, they should have done the research. They should have read the signs that certain items are not allowed, and put their stuff into free lockers, of which we have a great many, but it doesn't entirely punish them either, because it doesn't make them wait in the huge line. Now, that is it for papers. Time for the general ride info. So, general ride info. This is a Bulliger and Mabillard custom flying coaster. It's about as intense as Manta, which means it's more tense than your average Superman clone, but not as intense as Tatsu. Although it does haul most of the time because it's hot here. Anyway, it's your height stick, 54 inches. There is no max height. So 54 inches and up, they can ride. Has to have 3 extremities. Has to have 2 legs with feet, plus 1 arm with at least 3 fingers capable of grabbing. As with any ride from Bulliger and Mabillard, casts are not allowed on the ride. If there's a cast, no bueno. If there's a brace or a boot, they have to take it off and store it by the platform. Loose articles. If it can't fit in your pockets, it can't come in line. No purses, no fanny packs, which is a bit stricter than Tornado 1. Those have to go in the locker. The only thing that cannot fit in your pockets that can come in line is water bottles. It's Florida. It's hot. We like to let them in and be stored on the side of the platform because they don't usually get stolen. The exception, of course, is souvenir cups. But that's not really people stealing your souvenir cup, because that would be very unhygienic. Yeah. Instead, what happens is your souvenir cup looks like Joe Schmo over there, and then Joe Schmo grabs yours, or you simply forget which one is yours. That's happened to me during an employee ride night before. Oopsie! So, I implore you, if you get a souvenir cup, mark it in some way. Put stickers on it. All of our employees have markers. You can ask them to put your name on it for you. In fact, they ask you if you want them to put your name on it. They can mark it in some way, make it look distinct. That way, you can check if it's yours. But I digress. Bags and stuff of that nature can get stolen, so we don't allow that on the platform. Only water bottles. The exception being medically tagged bags. We understand there are people with medical conditions. People who need to have medicine or resources with them at all times. Otherwise, they'll die or pass out or whatever. So, over by the entrance, right there, is where public safety is. They can go over to public safety. They can get their bag registered, searched, and tagged. And they can come on back. And then they got to show you the tag and take it in line with them. And then they leave it over by the control booth where one of ours can keep an eye on it. Or with the exit host. One of those two. So that's pretty much it. For general rider policies, let me take you down the exit and through the queue. Or not down the exit. Let me take you through the queue. So the queue is very small and compact, just like Tornado 1. It's just not as compact. It's a little more spread out because it's going to go down and around, but it's really cool. It provides a lot of shape. Straight through. Going through the whole thing straight through is an out. Over by this corner is 45 minutes. Top of the stairs is half an hour. And then underneath This light right here is where the 15-minute mark is. This goes for both lines. Both the regular and the easy queue line. What we're standing in right now is the easy queue line. Each of these switchbacks is 10 minutes. And there's 8 of them. So that adds up to 80 minutes for a grand total of 2 hours and 20 minutes total wait time for a full queue. Provided both are full, but we'd rather overestimate than underestimate. That way the guest gets a nice little surprise when the wait times turned out to be shorter. Let's go ahead. This is a photo booth, by the way. Let's go ahead and head on down the exit. This is where alternate access goes. Very wheelchair friendly. Nice and wide, too, so that there's no bottlenecks. And it's time to start going over our positions. Positions. There's 8 of them. Exit. Greeter, grouper, 4 checks, and controls. The rotation will go as follows. Exit will start the bump rotation when told to. They're going to go up to greeter. Greeter to grouper. Grouper to load 1. Load 1 to enable load 2. Enable load 2 over to unload 2. Unload 2 up to unload 1. Unload 1 to controls. Controls to exit. If you are watching over a medical bag, just give a thumbs up to controls, and then once you're no longer watching over it, if someone else wants to give you one, tell them to leave it over by the control booth. If no one else wants to give it to, or leave it over by unload 2, because they'll be taking over your duties. Once you're done watching over that medical bag, then you start the bump rotation. Whole thing should be done and over with within a few minutes. Other than that, you can also height check people, and then with alternate access. Speaking of alternate access, when they come by, you're going to look at the pass. You're going to see that current time exceeds the return time. Let's see if they indicate front row. Check ride requirements one more time. And then go ahead and board them. You're going to cross out the current entry. And board them. Now what if the ride goes down? Then you're going to look at it. You're going to cross it out. Write DT and then the reason. Mechanical. GI. Weather. Etc. It's a whole list of codes. And then send them away to get another time, and then they can come back at any time and ride. Boarding alternate access, you can load up to half a train every 3 trains. So if you just loaded someone last train, don't load more people until a couple more trains. Trust me, it won't be that slow. You can check them in at any time, but keep them there until it's time to load them again, every 3 trains. That way people don't get stymied over and over again. I've had it happen to me, it's annoying. Other than that, you're really just checking these 2 gates when it's time for dispatch and throwing up a clear. Actually, you're not throwing up a clear. You're keeping these gates in check. Because these gates are your responsibility. Yes, if they're not closed, the train won't send, but can never be too careful. I'll explain that a little more later. But other than that, that's really it. You don't do much at exit. Exit offers a nice breather until it's time to start the bump rotation. So, let's go over here now. Look at all the lush vegetation. It's really nice having a park like this in Florida. You know, except for the hurricanes. Those are kind of annoying. Anyway. It's time for entrance! Our first line of defense against loose articles and rider requirements. You have an A phone and a park phone. A phone, park phone. A phone, park phone. A phone, park phone. Part of your test is to memorize at least half of the A phone. You'll be given a diagram of the A phone with the numbers. You have to match the numbers, the positions. You get at least half right, you're good. Yes, it's got a list on there, but we'd like you to find entries on that list quickly to deal with problems quickly. Anywho, you also got a park phone and a list of numbers there. You don't have to memorize that. To use the height stand, simply have them stand on here. You're going to have them stand back against like this. You're going to take the thing. You're going to swing it out and over their head. If it goes over their head or brushes their hair, no. The hair trick doesn't work here. If it hits their head solid, yay, they're good. Watch out for stuffed shoes, stuff like that. You're also going to look after both regular and easy queue. If you got a big jumble of easy queue, don't be afraid to close the regular line for a bit. Have people wait. Tiny bit, especially if that's the case, there's usually a bit of a line. Don't let people sneak past you. It causes issues. Anyway, scan them in. Check their wristband and make sure it's not tampered with. And it's the correct logo and color, and send them on their way if they have enough scans. We're not going to throw unfair audits at you or anything like that. Just because if a couple of bad easy queues slip through, it's really no big deal. If you let a bunch through, we're going to catch on though, because they check them at grouper too. And then you might get in trouble if there's a pattern. Anywho, that's pretty much the ins and outs of entrance. Be nice but firm. You notice the larger guest, have them try the test seat. Although I will say, each seat on this ride is even more accommodating than the large seats on Tornado 1. That's, you have to be pretty big not to fit on this. Not to knock people who are pretty big. I'm sure if they do want to ride this, they'd make them the steps necessary to do it. I did. So, it's worth it. It's worth it to change your life like that so you can ride coasters. It's one of life's great joys. Wait, sit here, look pretty, hold the height stick, height measure people, check easy queues. First line of defense, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Let's go to grouper. Let's walk through here. Walk down our easy queue line again. Love this one. I always think of something high in the mountains when I hear this song. It's one of the first Sonic games I played, Sonic Advance 2. Anywho, here we are at Grouper. So Grouper, your other line of defense against anything that shouldn't come by. You see a bag that shouldn't be there, give them an item ticket, send them back, they'll come back through the easy queue. Height checks as well, sometimes those slip by too. Just don't let them slip by you. If they complain, you can give them an easy queue or something. That's what you can do, is give them an easy queue for this ride that they can come back and ride when they are tall enough. You have some level of discretion with that. Most importantly, though, you're going to be assigning rows. Late at night. You fill the train back to front to back. You can do 2 group loads in each chute. Any more than that, I would recommend against. Nobody likes when the station is overly full and they have to wait longer. The only exception is front row. There is a very long chute for front row. You can shove people in there if you want. If the queue is full, though, at that point, it's mandatory. You go in the row I put you. Anyway, assign rows, look out for all the same stuff as entrance. There's not much else to it. Here's an A phone so you can communicate with controls. Alright, I think it's time to start checking restraints. Or at least it would be. But first, I have to give you the warning. Yep, before we start checking restraints, I have to give you the dire warning. Working this ride will be scary at first. That is because flying coasters in the Sentinel Parks chain are unique in that they have a safety major violation associated with them. Or a safety major plus, as we call it. There are 2 types of safety violations. Safety minor, which are mainly small verbal warnings, 2 of which will get you a safety major. There's a safety major, which is more of a written warning. Our rule is 3 strikes and you're out. 3 safety majors and you're out of rides for a full calendar year. Now, safety major plus. On paper, on your record, it'll be, in terms of steps towards getting canned, it's the same as a safety major. However, a safety major plus has additional implications. You're probably wondering, what is the safety major plus in question? That is leg flaps. Leg flaps, leg flaps, leg flaps. I will be hammering this into your head every single cycle you check restraints during training because it is so important. Leg flaps need to be closed. Computer checks for that, so don't have to worry as much for that. Feet need to be in leg flaps. That's the big one. That can get you. If you see anyone's leg hanging down as it's chassing up, you need to call a hold immediately. And then let it chassis down. Go over there and take care of the problem. If the train starts to move and the problem is not taken care of, the following things will happen. A, you will get a safety major. You will be taken into the office, given a lecture, given a safety major, sent home for the day. Second thing is, you get a black mark on your record. As with any safety major plus, this black mark on your record stays on your employment record for 10 years. For 1 full calendar year since getting it, down to the day, you cannot be recerted for this ride. And then for the full 10 years that black mark is on your record, you cannot have this ride as your home ride. So, 1 full calendar year, you can't get certed for this. And then from 1 year to 10 years, you can get certed. You cannot have it as your home ride. Yes, it's embarrassing to have to call a hold because you missed leg flaps on your side, but you will not get in any trouble for doing so. Well, unless it happens a lot. Then you'll maybe get a talking to. But that's the worst thing that'll happen. Yes, you may get made fun of ever so slightly by your peers for missing that. But what would you rather have happen? Would you rather have the slight embarrassment of having to call that hold and then go over and correct those leg flaps and send the train out safely? Or would you rather have the sheer humiliation of being the reason that we have to press an e-stop or a ride stop, have maintenance come over, take care of the leg flap thing, reset the ride, do a downtime, and then you have to get dragged off to park ops, sit in the office, and get your safety major. Yeah, I think I know which one I'd prefer. So, do not miss leg flaps. And there's going to be ways to check for those that we will hammer into your head over and over and over again throughout this training. Now, enough of that. You're probably jarred right now, but it's time to go over how to check the restraints and start going over the load 1 position. So how do we check a B&M fly? Well, you're going to go to the seat in question. You're going to take the harness. You're going to push and pull on the harness. While you're doing that, you're going to be looking down at these leg flaps. You need to make sure, A, that they're closed, and B, that the person's legs are inside of it. If they're open, you say, oop, hold on. Oop. If they're open, you say, sir or ma'am, put your legs back. And then you kick the little lever right there, that blue lever. You kick that down, the leg flaps will close. If their legs are outside the leg flaps, whether it's after you've had to call a hold or while you're checking, then you can use the switch on the bottom of the seat. There's 2 switches. The top one controls the harness. The bottom one controls the leg flaps. You can use the leg flap switch to open those up, put them back, kick it back down, and you'll be good to go. So that's how you check. Now, for load 1, you're going to be checking rows 3 and 4. You always check the odd row first. So 3, then 4. What you do is you're going to come out here. You're going to go this way. And then you're going to come down, go this way. Up, see his leg flaps are open. Go ahead and kick the switch and close them. And then you're going to come back over here. It's always good practice to look at the monitor. If your rows are all yellow, that means the row is successfully latched and it's ready to lock. If it's still blue, that means one of 2 things. Either the harness is not fully latched, which can happen if one side's not quite in. It's common on flying coasters. But also if the leg flaps are open. So you need to check both. You need to constantly check those leg flaps. Close the leg flaps if they're open. If it's still blue, that means the harness. Wiggle the harness a little bit. It'll set itself in place, and then it'll be time to lock. So that's pretty much how to do it. Your eye cycle includes up here and over here. And then you're the first clear on this side. You're going to put out your low clear when you're ready to go. So let's do a couple more cycles on this side. I like to do at least 3 under my guidance. And watch out for the leg flaps, because if you don't, consequences could be pretty severe. Step up here, people are going to go through, people are going to go through. Gates are closing.
Once seated, please pull your feet all the way back and pull down your
Go ahead, check these. All right, put your legs back. All right, thank you.
But in the event they don't, please notify a crew member so they can close them for you.
Oh, we got a seat that's not quite in there. That do it?
Thank you, and enjoy your flight.
Yep, there we go. It's all yellows for your row. All right, everyone's pretty much back in place. Go ahead and do your eye cycle. Step on your pad. Put your clear out. Now, only step on your pad when you're ready to put out your clear. You step on too early, your pad's going to time out, and then everyone's got to step off their pad, let go of their buttons, start the dispatch sequence over. Which is annoying. And yes, controls can see which pad timed out, because it'll flash red on the screen. We'll get to that later. So let's do a couple more in this position.
Welcome back, pilots. When your car is fully upright and your leg flaps release, pull down and push your harness all the way up. Please exit to the
Don't forget to look out for those leg flaps. Trust me, you do not want a safety major. Safety major plus on your record. Trust me, having a black mark on your record is not fun.
Welcome aboard. As you step through
So, alright, so guests are coming in, coming in, coming in. Yes, coming in.
If you are not boarding, please step
Gates are closing. Train is latched. Alright, let's go ahead. Go ahead and check those harnesses. Everything's good. You need to be looking down with those leg flaps. Alright, leg flaps are all good. Harness is all good. Everything's all yellow. While you are setting the train, you need to get low. Like this. You need to get low so you can look for leg flaps. We encourage you to scan the whole train for leg flaps. Alright, eye cycle. Was pretty much back in place. Go ahead and put your clear out. All clear. Get low. Alright. All the rows scan so you can get back up again. Let's do a couple more.
Welcome back, pilots. When your car is fully upright and your leg flaps release, pull down and push your harness all the way up. Please
don't forget to check those leg flaps. I'm going to drill it in your head every single cycle. Because it is uber important that you make sure people's legs are in the leg flaps. Because it can be disastrous if they're not.
Please deposit only your loose-fitting shoes in the silver shoe bin, keeping everything else with you when you take your seat. If you are not,
yes, you're ready.
please step back. As the
gates are closing. Train is latched.
Please pull your feet all the way back and pull down your shoulder harness. The leg flaps should come down with the shoulder harness, but in the event
normally at other rides you'd latch when gates close, but here at Tornado 2 we want to relatch them as soon as every harness is up.
And hold on to the handlebars. Thank you.
Alright, that's good. Wait for people to get back in their safe zones. Go ahead and do your eye cycle. Go ahead and step on your pad. Put out your clear. All clear. Get low so you can look at the leg flaps. Again, pretty embarrassing if you miss one and let the train leave. It's like everyone's legs are in the leg flaps. Alright, one more cycle in this position, and then we're going to move on to the next one. I honestly forgot whether we did 2 or 3, so may as well just do one more, just for emphasis.
Welcome aboard. As you step through the gates, please deposit
Yes, you're entering.
loose-fitting shoes in the silver shoe
Train
bag,
is latched.
keeping everything else with you when you take your seat. If
That
you
way
are
they
not
don't
wearing,
pull them down
please
for the
step
leg
back
flaps,
as the gates
otherwise that would be
closing.
annoying.
Once seated, please pull your
Alright.
feet all the way back and pull down your
Time to
shoulder
check.
harness. The leg flaps
Alright.
should come down with
Sir,
the
put your
shoulder
legs back,
harness,
please.
but in the event they don't, please notify a crew member so they
Alright.
can close them for you. During your ride,
Alright, put your legs back. There you go. Well, we got one that's not quite right.
Thank you, and enjoy your flight.
Is it good now? Alright, there we go. All yellows. So you're back in your safe zone. Do your eye cycle. Alright, go ahead and step in your pad, put out your clear. All clear. Get low. Don't forget to get low. Alright, when this train parks, we're going to rotate back to enable.
When your car is fully upright and your leg flaps release, pull down and push your harness all the way up. Please exit to the right of the station.
Alright.
Welcome aboard.
As we rotate in the next position, you guys go ahead. Go ahead. As you rotate to the next position, did you know, according to El Toro Ryan, in his problematic roller coasters Superman Ultimate Flight video, did you know that it takes 8,000 lines of code during a chassis up and a chassis down as the ride's dispatching? It's a ton of checks. Gotta check for everything. Except for if legs are in the leg flaps, that's your job. Anywho, here's Naval. Got a very simple panel. You have your advance and dispatch button. It's a mushroom, because we're cool. And because you're holding it for a while. Got your gates toggle. It's got a 5-second cooldown. So it'll activate. Wait 5 seconds, it'll activate again. And you got your reset button, which cuts the power of the ride, which you use in terms of emergencies. So you're going to check rows 7 and 8, much in the same manner you checked rows 3 and 4. Don't really have to go over much, so you can just jump right into your 3 cycles. When it's time to dispatch, you're going to hold the advance and dispatch down. From the time the ride starts to chassis up, to the time it parks in the station and unlatches and unlocks. Got to hold it that whole time. If you let off, the ride could possibly break if you let off at exactly the time. B, people will get annoyed because you have to start the dispatch sequence over. It's annoying. Alright, so you're going to stay over here. Gates are open. People are coming through. Alright, everyone's through. Go ahead and hit that gates button. Come on up. Go ahead and go through here. Look at those leg flaps. Make sure they're locked. And the people's feet are inside them. Oh, looks like your legs are outside the leg flaps. Alright. Switch. There you go. You can step back there only if you're unlocking the leg flaps. Unlocking or unlatching. Alright, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Everything's good. Good to go. Come back here. Your eye cycle includes up here and back here. You're going to look for clears up there. Don't forget to get low. You still need to get low. We're not going to count that one. We're going to do that one again because we kind of messed up. You're going to look for low clears from there, and then you're going to look for a low clear from over there. Once you get a low clear from over there and there, you're going to put a low clear over there. So that unloads so you can see it.
Please exit to the right of the station.
Other than that, that's pretty much it. Gates open automatically, unless they're set to manual for when we're loading alternate access. Just hold the gates closed signal when they're already closed to signal that you're gonna go ahead and close the gates. That you're gonna hold gates. All right, let's get checking.
Should come down with a shoulder harness, but in the event they don't, please notify a crew member so they can close them for you. During your ride, please remain seated, facing forward at all times, and hold on to the handlebars.
Check them, sir. Put your feet back, please. All right, thank you. Look, we got all yellows. Awesome. Here's your A phone, by the way. Go ahead and do your eye cycle. Everyone's pretty much back in their spot. This button does not time out, unlike the pressure pads. Alright, low clear out. Alright, all clear. Yeah, way to get low. There you go. Way to get low. You can avoid a leg flap mishap. And most of the time, you'll get recognition for if you catch someone else's leg flaps and you stop the ride. It's yours, well, you know what happens. You'll get the recognition anyway. It just won't be as good or consequential. Alright, let's do a couple more. The gates are open.
Please deposit only your loose-fitting shoes in the silver shoe bin, keeping everything else with you when you take your seat. If you are not boarding, please
go ahead and close the gates.
The gates are closing. Once seated,
all right, time to go over and check.
All the way back and pull down your shoulder harness. The leg flaps should come down.
Put your feet back. All right, thank you.
Please notify a crew member so they can
put your feet back. Put your feet back. All right, there we go. Someone's harness is not where it should be. Alright, just gonna wait a little bit. Alright, there we go. Now we got all yellows. Let's come over here. Everyone's pretty much back in their spot, so go ahead and do your eye cycle. Look for clears. Alright, go ahead, push the button, put out your clear. All clear. Yep, get low. That way you don't miss any of the leg flaps. And off they go, all of their legs in the leg flaps. Therefore, all is well in the kingdom. Hopefully I won't be out of a voice by the time I'm done with this.
Welcome back, pilots. When your car is fully upright and your leg flaps release, pull down and push your harness all the way up. Please exit to the right of the station.
Alright, one more and then we'll rotate again. Alright, everyone's entering.
Please deposit only your loose-fitting shoes.
Come on in, come on in, come on in.
Keeping everything else with you when you take your seat. If you are not boarding, please step back.
Close the gates.
The gates are closing. Once seated, please pull your feet all the way back and pull down your shoulder harness.
Alright.
The leg flaps should come down.
Thank
the
you.
shoulder harness.
Thank you.
But in the event they don't, please notify a crew member so they can close them.
Put your feet back. Alright, thank you.
Please remain seated.
Look on up. You got all yellows. Good to go.
To the handlebars. Thank you, and enjoy your flight.
Go ahead and do your eye cycle. For your clears. Alright, go ahead and push your button. All clear. There we go. Get low so you don't miss any leg flaps and be embarrassed horribly. There you go. You can get back up again.
Welcome back, pilots. When your car is fully upright and your leg flaps release, pull down and push your harness all the way up. Please exit to the right of the station.
Alright. Go ahead and put up your cross.
As you step through the gates, please
Enable cross.
loose-fitting shoes in the silver shoe
Cross.
keeping everything else with you when you take your seat. If you are not boarding, please step back at the gates.
Alright, this is NL2.
Once seated,
You're going to be checking rows 5 and 6. 5 and 6. So you go across and back. Then you're going to flip the bins here. In the event that we don't have an exit, which is often because they start the bump rotation, you'd be the one taking care of alternate access and parent swaps. Your eye cycle includes over here and back here. You're going to look for a low clear from here. Once you do, you're going to step on your pad, give the low clear across. You're going to give a low clear back. You're going to turn, switch your low clear to a high clear. And then that'll be good. They'll call all clear, and you do your usual shtick, including getting low.
Welcome back, pilots. When your car is fully upright and your leg flaps release, pull down and push your harness all the way up. Please exit to the right of the station.
Alright, let's do some cycles. Don't forget to get low and check leg flaps.
Welcome aboard. As you step through the gates, please deposit only your loose-fitting shoes in the silver shoe bin, keeping everything else with you when you take your seat. If you are not
Come out here, just don't get in people's way.
as the gates are closing. Once seated,
All right,
please pull
let's
your
go.
feet
Let's
all the
check.
way back and pull down your shoulder
Go ahead.
harness. The leg flaps should come down with
All right,
the
put
shoulder
your legs
harness,
back,
but in the
please.
event they don't, please notify a crew member so they
Put
can
your legs
close them
back.
for you. During your ride, please remain
Oh, we got a
seated,
seat in row
forward at all times,
6 that
and
needs to
hold
be
on to the handlebars.
adjusted.
Thank you, and enjoy your flight.
Just gonna adjust your seat real quick. Yep, there we go. Now we're good. Go ahead and flippy the bins. Go ahead and do your eye cycle. Give your low clear. Alright, step in your pad. Go ahead and give it your high clear. All clear. Get low. Don't want to miss any leg flaps. And out you go. Tails away to save the day.
Welcome back, pilots. When your car is fully upright and your leg flaps release, pull down and push your harness all the way up. Please exit to the right of the station.
You can get up now. Alright, let's do a couple more. Come on out here.
As you step through the gates, please deposit only your loose-fitting shoes in the silver shoe bin, keeping everything else with you when you...
Sir, that has to ride with you. If it's not a shoe, it has to ride with you. Sorry.
The gates are closing. Once seated,
Thank
please
you.
pull your feet all the way back.
Alright, go ahead and check.
Pull down your shoulder harness. The leg flaps should come down with the shoulder harness, but in the event they don't, please notify
Thank you, good
the
sir.
so they can close them for you. During your ride, please remain seated, facing forward at all times, and hold on to the handlebars. Thank you, and enjoy your flight.
There we go. We may have checked backwards last cycle. Whoopsie. We'll count it. You get the idea. Alright, we're all yellow. We're good. You know what? I'm not going to count it. Still got 2 more. There you go. Get low. There you go. All is well in the kingdom. The kingdom of the leg flaps. Alright, in comes the other train.
Welcome back, pilots. When your car is fully upright and your leg flaps release, pull down and push your harness all the way up. Please exit to the right of the station.
Alright, 2 more.
As you step through
Let's come out here.
Please deposit only your loose-fitting shoes in the silver shoe bin, keeping everything
Little
else with you
thing to help you remember. White pillar.
If you are not boarding, please step back as the gates are closing. Once seated, please pull your feet all the way back and pull down your shoulder harness. The leg flaps
Those are all
should
good.
come down with the shoulder harness, but in the event they don't, please notify a crew member so they can close them for
Alright,
you.
we got all yellows that time.
Please remain seated.
Go ahead and flip the bins.
All times, and hold on to the handlebars.
You'll also be checking the right gate if there's no
Enjoy your flight.
exit. Eye cycle. Go ahead and put out your low clear. Alright, step on your pad, put up your high clear. If they're all set on the timeout. Alright, one more.
Welcome back, pilots. When your car is fully upright and your leg flaps release, pull down and push your harness all the way up. Please exit to the right of the station. Welcome aboard. As you step through the gates, please deposit only
Alright, come on out here.
shoes in the silver shoe bin, keeping everything else with you when you take your seat. If you are not boarding, please step back as the gates are closing. Once seated, please pull your feet.
Our gates are closed. Go ahead.
Pull down your shoulder harness. The leg flaps should come down with the shoulder harness.
Oh,
But in the
hold on.
event they
Gotta
don't,
wiggle your restraint a bit.
fight for
Alright,
them
there we go. Now it's
so they
in.
can close them for you. During your ride, please remain seated, facing forward at all times.
Alright, all yellows. We're good to go.
Thank you, and enjoy your flight.
Go ahead and flip the bins. Come back here. Stand behind the pressure pad. Alright, you're low clear. Alright, high clear. Don't forget to get low. Leg flaps. There you go. It's definitely a learning curve. All the leg flaps are closed. We're good to go. Alright, after this, we're going to rotate up.
Welcome back, pilots. When your car is fully upright and your leg flaps release, pull down and push your harness all the way up. Please exit to the right of the station. Welcome aboard. As you step
Very nice. Alright, let's rotate up here.
fitting shoes in the silver shoe bin, keeping everything else with you when you take your seat. If you are not boarding,
You get to play with that later.
as the gates are closing,
Alright, you're checking rows 1 and 2.
please pull your feet
Much in the same manner. Got your iPhone right here for communication. Ice cycle is around here. And then you put out low clear, your first clear on this side. Alright, get started.
So they can close them for you. During your ride, please remain seated, facing
Put your legs back.
at all times, and hold on to the handlebars. Thank you, and enjoy your flight.
Put your legs back. There you go. Alright, go ahead and flip those bins. Bins. Ice cycle. Go ahead and put your clear out. Recommend stepping on your pad when they get the high clear. All clear. There you go. Way to get low. Stay low. There you go. Everyone's leggy flaps are closed. Nobody's getting in trouble today. Look at that.
Welcome back, pilots. When your car is fully upright and your leg flaps release, pull down and push your harness all the way up. Please exit to the right of the station. Welcome aboard.
And stand over here.
Through the gates, please deposit only
Look at all those people eating lunch.
silver shoe bin, keeping everything else with you when you take your seat. If you are not boarding, please step back as the gates are closing. Once seated,
Alright, go ahead.
pull your feet all the way back and pull down your shoulder harness. The leg flaps should come down with the shoulder harness. But in the event they
Put your legs back, please.
notify crew member
There you go.
so they
Put
can
your legs
close
back.
them for you.
Thank you.
During your ride, please remain seated, facing
Oh, you missed the
forward
leg
at all
flap.
times and hold
Put your
on
legs
to the
back.
handlebars.
Thank you.
And enjoy your flight.
You also got a seat that needs to be wiggled. Alright, there we go. Now we got all yellows. Alright, go ahead and flip the bins. Do your eye cycle. Alright, go ahead and put out your clear. All clear. There we go.
Welcome back, pilots. When your car is fully upright and your leg flaps release, pull down and push your harness all the way up. Please exit to the right of the station.
One more, and then we get to go play with the control panel.
Welcome aboard.
Alright, let's go.
Please deposit only your loose-fitting shoes in the silver shoe bin, keeping everything else with you when you.
By now you're used to checking everything and being deathly afraid of the leg flaps. You will have nightmares about the leg flaps the first few weeks, I promise you. Afterwards, it'll become second nature. You'll know it's second nature when you stop having nightmares about them. Alright, go ahead and check.
Please notify a crew member so they can close
Go.
them for you. During your ride, please remain seated, facing forward at all times, and hold on to the handlebars.
There you go. Tire harness all the way in. Put your legs back. There we go. Alright. All yellows for rows 1 and 2. Go ahead and flip the bins. Do your eye cycle. Go ahead and put out your clear. All clear. Don't forget to get low. There you go. Congratulations, you made it through training without missing any leg flaps. You live to restraint check another day. Every day is a gift at this ride. Many have that black mark on their record, unfortunately. The sheer number of people who have had it on their record doesn't make it any less painful. We've had senior supervisors get that black mark on their record. I forgot to mention that if you're not team member and you get a safety,
please deposit only your loose-fitting shoes in the silver shoe bin, keeping everything
and you get
when you take your seat. If you are not boarding,
a safety major plus,
the gates are closing.
you get demoted,
Please pull your feet all the way back
and you can't get re-promoted for at least a full calendar year.
Should come down with a shoulder harness, but in the event they don't, please notify.
Alright, control room, you got a consign panel.
During your ride,
It's pretty. You also got an A phone and a park phone, A phone, park phone, A phone, park phone. And then you got water cooler. You have the fire extinguisher, needs to be turned over once a month, and spare height sticks. This is your mic. It's operated by a foot pedal. Ugh, I know. Pain in the butt. Alright, panel enable. Delivers controllability of the panel. Turning it off and on again will reset the ride. Gate control, auto manual. If someone does the gate closed signal while the gates are closed, it means set the gates to manual. As if they're loading alternate access or there's downtime or anything. You get error messages here, speaking of. Operation mode, auto, manual transfer. As a team member, you most likely will not be switching the ride into auto or into manual mode. You will be switching it, however, into transfer mode. Sometimes you might need to transfer off a train due to rain. You as a team member can transfer into transfer mode. Then we simply send 2 people down there, one to transfer, one to confirm. Transfer. We do all the transfer things. It's a B&M, it pretty much positions it for you. It's nice, but it also doesn't do it very fast. Maintenance bypass, that flips on a maintenance mode. You need a maintenance key for that one. Maintenance has the maintenance keys. Chassis up, chassis down, that's for manual mode. Mostly do that in the morning when you're doing AMs. Acknowledge. We get error messages. They'll usually flash on the bottom of the screen. And then you have to hit acknowledge before you do anything to address those. Usually it's the ride op that will hit acknowledge. After you call park ops and report it. And you log it in the DOR. Advanced dispatch does what the other ones do. You have to hold them just as long, except there are 2 of them. Latch harness. So here's the beauty of a flying coaster. You have to latch and you have to lock a harness. So when the train comes back, these are all going to light up red. Once the harness is up above the last pull, then it'll go back to being blue. Once you get all blues, you can hit latch harness. You don't wait till the gates are closed this time, solely because of the leg flaps. So, then you hit latch harness. Once you get all yellows, you hit lock harness, and then they'll light up green. Lift stop stops the lift. Lift start, you need 2 people. You need to send someone out to the base of the lift. There they have the A-phone, they're going to call. Pick up the A-phone, you go, hello? They'll go lift start, and then you'll go, ready, 1, 2, 3. Hold lift start until the lift starts. It'll play the lift start sound, which sounds exactly the same as St. Louis's Batman and Great America's X-Flight. Like something like that. Ride stop. Stops every ride in the nearest control point, but does not cut out the ride. Ride start requires maintenance bypass and reset. Maintenance to restart it. E-stop reset. Resets the E-stop. Also needs other stuff to be done, but it needs to be pressed to reset the E-stop, which cuts power to the ride completely. And the E-stop lockout. So anytime you need to access a restricted area in the ride, you need to lock out. The exception is if you're just doing a track walk without going into any of the low zones. And the other exception is if you're just going to restart the lift. Actually, if you're just accessing the catwalks, you really don't need a lockout. Only if you're doing locks, which is where you run around. You do it in the morning or at night. You might get scheduled in a little early to do it, depending on how many people we've got. Which is when you run around all the low zones. If it's in the morning, you're checking to make sure no one's in there. And you're checking to make sure all the gates are locked and closed sufficiently so that people can't squeeze in. At night, you're going to check for lost items.
Please notify crew members
Now, when you have to
so they can
evac
close them for you.
people, you do a mass lockout.
Please remain seated.
Mass lockout is where a whole bunch of us lock out. We used to use the hasp. Those kept breaking.
Thank you.
We got it replaced with these. These are much better. Way, way better. Much more durable. So, when you do a mass lockout, so when you're just doing 1 or 2 people for locks, you're simply going to take your locks, put them on here. Your locks with your tags. If it's a mass lockout, we're going to use a lockout box. Lockout box is a clear, very durable plastic box. So we take the ride's main lockout. We put the lock on here. We throw the key in the lockout box. We close the lockout box. And it's got a whole bunch of holes through both the top and the bottom. And then you put all your individual locks through that. That way, everyone has to unlock their lock before you can do the main lockout. It's much more durable. Doesn't break it. They don't break as easily as the hasp do. And it's much less annoying than having to get like 3 or 4 hasps. Or, well, there's only 8 of us, so there's like 2. But Florida Formula Rush, used to need like 3 or 4. That was fun. That was fun, for lack of a better term. Anyway, that's that, and right in the middle is the HMI enable. Human-machine interface. You need, anytime you want to use a touchscreen, unless the ride's in maintenance mode, you have to be holding it down. So, one finger holding down the HMI enable, the other accessing the panel. Let's go over what's on here. Run diagnostic. Don't really need to worry about that unless you're maintenance. Transfer mode and maintenance mode, self-explanatory. It'll show you each view menu. Won't really be doing that a whole lot. If you need to view more about the error, you can. You can access it through the menus. Train number, each train is a number. Train parked and station time is how long it's been parked. We don't usually like to let that go above 60. Wind speed. Anything above 45 at the top will shut the ride down. Last run time. If that starts to creep too high, you'll get a warning. If it stays too high or gets to an even higher value, the ride will stop as well. Or too low, you may get an overspeed warning. Current time is the current time. The temperature is the temperature. Thanks to winter wheel technology, although it doesn't really need it, this can run down to 10 below 0. But we don't usually need to put the winter wheels on, given that this is Florida. So we don't really have them. Without the winter wheels, it's going to run down to 20. So unless we get an ultra cold snap, this will run like a tank. Enable pad L1, pad L2, pad UL1. Corresponds to each pad. Once you get all greens, then you're good to go. If one flashes red, that means it's timed out and you have to restart the dispatch sequence. Once you step back on it, it'll go from flashing red to green. Exit gate locked. The exit gate locks by... If you tap it, it unlocks the exit gate. If you tap it while it's unlocked, it'll tap again. If it lights up yellow, that means it's locked but not closed. If it lights up green, it's locked and closed. It'll unlock automatically for 30 seconds after the train parks, or after the train unlatches, I should say. And then if you tap it to unlock it, it'll unlock it for 5 seconds after that. So once those are green, once that's green, once these are all green, you're good to go. To release rows, can unlock, release individual rows. You hit what you do. So you can release in two ways. You can unlock, you can unlatch. This has added functionality. So if you want to open the foot flaps in that row, what you do is you hit release row 1, and then you hit, if it's locked and latched, if it's just, so if it's locked and latched, you hit a release, it'll light up green, and then you hit latch harness, it'll open the foot flaps. If it's locked and you hit latch, release, and then latch, it'll unlatch but keep the foot flaps closed. Or unlock but keep the foot flaps closed. The harness will still be latched. If you hit release and then lock harness, everything will open. Everything in that row will open. Foot flaps, harness. So, 3 different things you can do depending on what you need. Need the foot flaps open, hit release and latch while it's latched but not locked. Need the harness open, hit release and lock while it's locked or latched. Just need to unlatch the restraint but not open anything while it's locked, or unlock the restraint while it's not opening. I mean, just hit release and latch, and then it should do that. Last but not least is these engaged indicators. Sometimes we may get a heavy row. I don't know the exact weight that triggers it. It seems to depend on the day. It's also very high. Now what will happen? This requires almost nothing on your part. As you're dispatching, you need to be looking at the engaged. When you latch, when you hit the latch button, these will be yellow while you're loading. When you hit the lock button, these will be green, along with these. After the train chassis up, if one of them or more of them flashes red, you just keep holding the dispatch buttons. It's going to automatically chassis down. Just keep holding those advance and dispatch buttons until chassis all the way down, and then the buttons start flashing again. If it's flashing red, that means it's a heavy row, and you're going to need to move some people around to reduce the weight in that row. It's usually rows 3 and row 7 that do it, but it doesn't do it unless you got 4 really heavy people. And even then, it doesn't always do that. It depends on the day. But that's how you deal with the heavy row. Just hold the dispatch buttons until they start flashing again. Until they go from solid to flashing. And then you won't have to worry about that too much. Now, what are you actually going to do with yours? Well, so, starting from the time the train parks, chassis down, unlocks, unlatch, you're going to look at these. Once these are all blue, then you hit latch harness. Once they're all yellow, you hit lock harness. You also got to be paying attention, see if anyone's holding up the number of the row. If they are, then you need to unlock it. Holding up the number of the row. Usually the foot flaps they can get by themselves. And usually they can manually unlock a harness, so they won't be doing that a whole lot. But just in case that doesn't work, there's some symbols that they're going to be holding up, or hand signals. If they're holding
with a shoulder harness. But in the event
One
they
fist.
don't, please notify a crew member so they can close them for you. During
So
your
if
ride,
they're holding
please
an
remain
open
seated,
hand,
facing forward at all
they hold up an
times,
open
and hold
hand,
on to the
and then the
handlebars.
number of the row.
Thank you, and enjoy your flight.
Then you got to open the foot flaps in that row. If they have a closed fist, and then the number of the row, then you got to unlock the harness, but not unlatch it. If they're holding two closed fists up, and then the number of the row, then you got to unlatch the harness as well. So open hand, foot flaps, closed hand, one closed fist, unlock, two closed fists, unlatch. Well, most of the time they won't really need to do that because the foot flaps can usually be taken care of. So that's pretty much it for that. So you're looking for that, and then once you get all greens, or once you get all yellows, you hit latch, or you hit lock, and then everything turns green. Then when the time comes, when you get your all clear, you do your eye cycle, say all clear in the mic, and then hold the advanced dispatch button. So let's hop in. And wait for that last straggler, and go ahead and hit latch.
If you are not boarding, please step back as the gates are closing. Once seated, please pull your feet all the way back and pull down.
They're checking now. Everyone's checking.
The leg flaps should come down with the shoulder.
Slowly turning green. I don't need to hammer leg flaps in your head anymore because those aren't really your responsibility. Speaking of which, if someone holds up an E-stop symbol, just hit E-stop. The onus is on them to prove that it was justified. Alright, you got all yellows, go ahead and hit lock. You got all greens. Your eye cycle. All clear. You don't need to get low either. You can just sit comfy in your chair. Away you go. Keep holding those buttons.
Welcome back, pilots. When your car is
Yeah, I know. You're holding them for quite a while. Let's do a couple more cycles. Then we can go final thoughts. It's quite a long video. We're past the 90-minute mark now. It's because there's a lot to go over with this coaster. Like I said, SFR is using an Arduino library. A lot more intensive, a lot more things to watch out for. Go ahead and latch.
Once seated, please pull your feet all the way back and pull down your shoulder.
Checking. Everyone's checking.
But in the event they don't, please notify a crew member so they can close them for you. During your ride, please remain seated, facing forward at all times, and hold on to the handlebars. Thank you, and enjoy your flight.
Looks like we got all yellows. Go ahead and hit lock. Alright, they're all green. Alright. All clear? It's nice to work a consign. Don't forget to watch your train.
flaps release, pull down and push your harness all the way up. Please exit to the right of the station.
One more cycle.
Welcome aboard. As you step through the gates,
Look at the harnesses.
only your loose-fitting shoes in the
So a
silver
couple
chute,
reds left.
keeping
2,
everything else with you when you
1,
take your
and
seat.
go ahead and latch
If
it.
you are not boarding, please step back as the gates are closing. Once seated, please pull your feet all the way back and pull down your
Starting to
shoulder
turn
harness.
yellow.
The leg flaps should come down with the shoulder harness, but in the event they don't,
By the way, if one of these engage buttons is not lit up
close them for you.
after you hit lock or latch, then call and try to release all and then do it again. If it does it again, then call a downtime. Alright, go ahead and hit lock harness. They're all yellow, green. Get do your eye cycle. All clear. Now they go. Alright, once the train parks, go ahead and head on out.
Welcome back, pilots. When your car is fully upright and your leg flaps release, pull down and push your harness all the way up. Please exit to the right of the station. Welcome aboard.
All right.
As you step through the gates,
Let me give him back controls.
shoes in the silver shoe bin.
All right.
Keeping everything else with you
Let's go out
when
through
you take
here.
your seat. If you are not boarding,
So that's it.
step back as the gates are closing.
If there's any takeaway from this,
Pull your feet all the
it's
way back and pull down
have this
your shoulder
mindset.
harness. The leg flaps should come
Let's
down with the
keep
shoulder
things
harness,
simple.
but in the event they don't,
Either you make sure everyone's legs are in the leg flaps, or the ride will explode and everyone within a 60-mile radius will die. Alright, if you have that mindset, you won't miss any leg flaps. Awesome! Silliness aside, it's a ride that a lot of people want still. You get frustrating at times, but it's also a lot of fun. You got a really nice setting among Prower Airfield. People love the atmosphere. Love the pacing and working B&Ms like these. Tornado 2 is certainly a crowd pleaser. Alright, thank you for joining me for this ride operator video. Like what you saw, leave a like and a comment, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.